Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Today we are going to discuss non-Hodgkin lymphoma. We have discussed Hodgkin lymphoma in last lecture. This non-Hodgkin lymphoma, this is a very varied group of tumors. Now, a new classification from your book, Robbins, you will see many lymphoid tumors. There is some mixing between lymphoma and leukemia. Now, on the basis of cell involved, immunological markers, and what is the developmental stage, what is this type of cell involved, we classify these tumors. Broadly speaking, if this tumor starts from the bone marrow, come in the peripheral blood, then we call this as leukemia. If this starts in other tissues, then this can involve the bone marrow and the terminal stages. Later advanced, this can again come in the peripheral blood like leukemia. So then these tumors, we call them lymphomas. But nowadays, with new classification, due to immunophenotyping, we can recognize which type of cell is involved, what is the developmental stage, and we can even recognize some molecular changes, some changes in the chromosomes, and the therapy may be guided on the basis of these changes. So these new classifications are more important. Now I have given you this classification in the start from the book Robbins. Now this is from Essential Hematology, maybe similar or slightly different. WHO organization classification of mature B cell and T cell neoplasm. So basically all the B lymphocytes are T lymphocytes. This also includes the non-Hodgkin lymphomas. B cell disorders comprise 85% of the cases. T cell and natural killer cell together comprise about 15% of the cases. Few rare subtypes have been omitted. So still this is not a complete classification. So you can realize how much confusing this topic. This was considered the most confusing topic in pathology. But now with the help of immunophenotyping, now new classifications are emerging and these may be helping in the treatment. Mature B cell neoplasm, chronic lymphocytic leukemia, small lymphocytic lymphoma. Now you can see before these were considered two different entities, now they include both. Chronic lymphocytic leukemia, of course, the picture will be mainly in the peripheral blood. Small lymphocytic leukemia count is below 5,000, but maybe immunological markers may be same. B cell pro-lymphocytic leukemia, splenic marginal zone lymphoma, hairy cell leukemia, lymphoplasmacytic lymphoma. This is also known as Waldenstrom macroglobulinemia, heavy chain disease, plasma cell myeloma, plasmacytoma. So all these are included in plasma cell dyscrasia. So also basically these are also P lymphocytes. Extranodal marginal zone lymphoma of mucosa associated lymphoid tissue. This is known as MALT lymphoma, follicular lymphoma, mantle cell lymphoma, diffuse large B cell lymphoma, Burkitt's lymphoma. So big list from the B cell neoplasm, mature B cell. Then mature T cell and natural killer cell neoplasms, T cell pro-lymphocytic leukemia, T cell large granular lymphocytic leukemia, adult T cell lymphoma or leukemia, extranodal natural killer cell or T cell lymphoma, nasal type, enteropathy associated T cell lymphoma, mycosis fungoides, Sézary syndrome, peripheral T cell lymphoma, angioimmunoblastic T cell lymphoma, anaplastic large cell lymphoma, ALK positive. ALK means anaplastic lymphoma kinase, gene on chromosome 2, which is overexpressed in this disease. So this is a big list. Maybe you don't need to memorize this all, but you should know this. Different types of tumors belonging to B lymphocytes or T lymphocytes. These can present in the form of leukemias. These can present in the form of lymphomas. Now there are some, this table you can see, there are some infections associated with hemopoietic malignancies. So infection, viral infection, virus is HTLV1. Tumor will be adult T cell leukemia or lymphoma. So most probably this is the causative agent. First there is infection, this viral infection, then there is transformation of the cells that results in malignant proliferation. Similarly, Epstein-Barr virus very much involved in patients of Burkitt's and Hodgkin lymphomas, PTLD, post-transplant lymphoproliferative disease, HHV8, human herpes virus 8. This is mainly involved in primary effusion lymphoma, multicentric Castleman's disease, HIV-1, high-grade B-cell lymphoma, primary CNS lymphoma or Hodgkin lymphoma, hepatitis C, marginal zone lymphoma. So these are the viral infections and the related tumors. Then we can see some bacterial infection, Helicobacter pylori. This infection is related to the production of this gastric lymphoma, also known as MALT, mucosa associated lymphoid tissue. This Burkitt's lymphoma is also associated to this protozoa, this malaria parasite, especially falciparum. This is very endemic in this area. So Epstein-Barr virus infection plus infection with these falciparum, these may be the causative agents which can result in some mutation that results in Burkitt's lymphoma. Now we will be just discussing few of these which are more important. One is follicular lymphoma. This relatively common tumor constitutes about 40% of the adult T cell non-Hodgkin lymphoma in the US. Maybe less common in the Asian countries. Pathogenesis: greater than 85% of the follicular lymphoma, they have a characteristic translocation between chromosome 14 to 18. This chromosomal rearrangement results in the inappropriate overexpression of BCL2 protein, which is an inhibitor of apoptosis. So when there is overexpression of BCL2 protein, that means there is more inhibition of apoptosis. Inhibition of apoptosis means prolonged survival of the cells. So this is one mechanism how these malignant proliferations are there. Morphology. Lymph nodes usually are effaced by a distinctly nodular proliferation. Most commonly, the predominant neoplastic cells are so-called centrocytes. The centrocytes are slightly larger than resting lymphocytes and with indented nuclei, typical feature. These centrocytes are mixed with variable numbers of centroblasts. So these will be larger with open chromatin, nuclei. These are centroblasts. Uncommonly, large cells predominate. This is a histological pattern that correlates with a more aggressive clinical behavior. So if the large cells are more in the histology, we can see in HND staining of the lymph nodes, so that means more aggressive tumor. Immunophenotype. So surface markers we find in the B cell. CD20 is positive. Then germinal center, B cell, these surface markers like CD10 and BCL6, these are also positive. Clinical features. These patients usually present at the ages of 50 years. And most common presentation, there is painless generalized lymphadenopathy. Lymph nodes are enlarged in different body parts, and mostly these are less. We can see bone marrow involvement in 80% of the cases. This is a slow growing tumor. Median survival, even without treatment, may be in the range of 10 years. But these tumors are not curable. So usually this is the pattern. More slow growing tumors may be more difficult to treat. They are not responding to the chemotherapy. Large cells, more aggressive tumor, usually they respond well to the chemotherapeutic agents. These patients may be living a normal life for many years, even without treatment, but we cannot hope for proper care in these patients. 30 to 40% of the cases progress to large B cell lymphoma. So this is more aggressive transformation, then this disease will be more aggressive and fatal if untreated. Now you can see this picture on left side. This is follicular lymphoma, lymph node. Nodular aggregates of lymphoma cells are present throughout the lymph node. You can see different nodules in the lymph node, HND staining now. In picture B on right side, at high this left side, this is a low power view, right side high power view. At high magnification, small lymphoid cells with condensed chromatin and irregular or cleaved nuclear outlines. So these are the centrocytes. These are mixed with a population of larger cells with nucleoli larger cell with the nucleoli in the nucleus. So these are the centroblasts. This will be histological picture. Now next is diffuse large B cell lymphoma. Most common type in adults. This is most common in adults. Pathogenesis: 1/3 of the patient they have rearrangements of the BCL6 gene, resulting in increased levels of BCL6 protein. So another 30% of tumors have a translocation between 14 to 18. Some of these tumors may represent transformed follicular lymphomas. Clinical features: median age, most of these patients are in the range of 60 years of age, but this can occur at any age. This disease also represents 15% of childhood lymphomas. These patients typically present with a rapidly enlarging mass at one or several sites. This may be one tumor or maybe different tumors, different body or different sites of the body. So, but these are rapidly growing. Extranodal presentations are common, and this will not start in the lymph node, maybe other than extranodal presentations. GIT being the most common extranodal site. Any organ or tissue may be involved. Involvement of the liver, spleen and bone marrow is not common at diagnosis. So these will start mostly from the extranodal side. These are enlarging rapidly. So these will be diagnosed before reaching to the bone marrow. Morphology. The neoplastic B cells are large and they vary in appearance. Occasionally, the tumor cells are highly anaplastic and include tumor giant cells resembling the RS cells. RS cell, Reed-Sternberg cell, which we see in Hodgkin lymphoma. So similarly, resembling cells, tumor giant cell, we can see in this Hodgkin lymphoma. Immunophenotype: B cell antigens like CD20 is positive. Many of these patients will also express surface immunoglobulin. This may be IgM or IgG. CD10 and BCL2, these are variably expressed. There are different subtypes including in this category. One is Epstein-Barr virus associated large B cell lymphoma. This usually occurs in patients of AIDS or in patients of immunosuppression. For example, after post-transplantation, we have to suppress this immune system, or immunosuppression, and we can see this type of tumor in elderly patients. Another type, that is Kaposi sarcoma, herpes virus, HHV8. This is mediastinal large B-cell lymphoma. Mostly the patients are young women, and this tumor usually spreads to the abdominal viscera and CNS. Treatment. So, without treatment, these are very aggressive tumors and rapidly fatal. But with intensive combination chemotherapy, now we can hope for care of these patients. With intensive combination chemotherapy, almost 60 to 80% of these patients can achieve complete remission, and many of these, maybe 50% of these, appear to be cured. They will remain disease free for maybe more than 5 years. If this treatment is not effective, we can go for hematopoietic stem cell transplantation. Now this picture you can see diffuse large B-cell lymphoma. Tumor cells have large nuclei, open chromatin, and prominent nucleoli like blast cells. These features. Now another category, that is Burkitt's lymphoma. Burkitt's lymphoma is endemic in parts of Africa, and this occurs sporadically in other geographic area, other parts of the world. We can see individual cases, what in area where there is falciparum infection, too much malaria. So these tumors are very common. Histologically, both these tumors are similar, although clinical features may be very different. Pathogenesis. Burkitt's lymphoma is highly associated with translocations involving the MYC gene on chromosome 8. This results in overexpression of the MYC transcription factor. MYC, this is a master regulator of cell growth. So, excessive expression of MYC gene will result in excessive proliferation. Burkitt's lymphoma is said to be the fastest growing human tumor. This is clinical importance. This is considered as the fastest growing human tumor. We have discussed there is usually Epstein-Barr virus infection in these areas where this is endemic, this infection plus malaria. Together these produce some changes that result in the progression of this tumor. Morphology, what we will see in the histological sections. The tumor cells are intermediate in size and typically have round or oval nuclei and 2 to 5 distinct nucleoli. There is a moderate amount of basophilic or amphophilic cytoplasm that often contains small lipid-filled vacuoles. So, in previous classification, the leukemic phase of this Burkitt's lymphoma, this was considered as acute lymphoblastic leukemia L3, L1, L2, L3. This was the classification. ALL L1. This is common ALL, most common in children. Then ALL L2, mostly the patients were from T-cell acute lymphoblastic leukemia, and ALL L3, this is the leukemic phase of this Burkitt's lymphoma. The blast cells, they have vacuole in the cytoplasm, and this is very much basophilic. This is a typical feature in these blast cells. Very high rates of proliferation and apoptosis are characteristic. So the normal non-neoplastic macrophages, they will eat some nuclear debris, and this will result this in the starry sky appearance, just like stars in the sky. So you can see this slide. What is hope for cure for these patients with very intensive chemotherapy. Now this is a picture of patient Burkitt's lymphoma. This characteristic facial swelling caused by extensive tumor involvement of the mandible and surrounding soft tissues. Left side of the mandible, this is involved in this tumor, and you can see this. This is a typical presentation in these patients. After histological sections in the lymph node, after Chinese staining, we can see this type of picture. Histological section of lymph nodes showing sheets of lymphoblasts and starry sky tingible body macrophages. Larger cells which appear as clear spaces, so actually these are macrophages which have eaten some nuclear debris. So this is starry sky appearance. In this slide you can see left side picture A, Burkitt's lymphoma at low power. Numerous pale tingible body macrophages are evident, producing a starry sky appearance. Right side picture B, at high power, tumor cells have multiple small nucleoli and a high mitotic index. The lack of significant variation in nuclear shape and size lends a monotonous appearance. This is another feature, monotonous appearance